Years ago, I met Dolores Cannon at one of the local New Age centers that I used to work at on occasion. And we ended up talking here and there, and I decided to take her course. What was interesting is that she kind of was groundbreaking in a lot of her ideas, and some of which I agree or disagree, but it's fine to agree and disagree, but also acknowledge that she did have some unique ways of looking at things and did gather information in a way that was very helpful. In this situation, Dolores Cannon mentions backdrop people. And I guess this is the quote: there are backdrop people who act as space fillers for us. We have thrown them into our construct of reality to make our world more full looking, like extras in a film. Now think about that. What does that actually mean? So here is Dolores. She was groundbreaking in her experience with hypnotherapy and past life regressions, and created different and developed different processes. But when she brought up the whole idea of backdrop people, I wasn't really sure if I acknowledged that they weren't souls or they weren't someone that was supposed to be here. I think I was more of the thought that, oh, well, there's a purpose. Maybe they're visitors, the ETs, there's something else, but not sure that they were just like AI. But I wonder if she was observing something in the future. And it was just a thought. I'm not going to rewrite what her thoughts were. I'm just trying to understand, because in actuality, a lot of this stuff's coming true. She refers to Schrodinger's cat, the paradox. Nothing exists unless you see it. What's the point of backdrop people? This whole article that was written by Kirsten Langston. So I want to acknowledge her. She did a very good job in discussing the article. But is it just about the backdrop people, or is it about something happening where people suddenly do become nothing more than a backdrop? This is where I'd like to bring in the information regarding what is actually happening now, and that is this Hollywood strike. Is AI really a threat to actors? The whole idea of actors no longer being needed, just maybe a scan in a resemblance of who they are, computer graphics, bringing them back to life through film, but they are never there again. Maybe getting paid once, a very limited amount of money. And so the people are up in arms because they can't make a living off of, one-time payment and then a multi-use image of themselves. But it's going in that direction. And why is it going in that direction? It's less expensive, obviously. But maybe there's something more to this. Maybe there is a bigger agenda. I remember years ago watching this film called Simone. It is literally a virtual actor. It becomes so realistic that people are fascinated with Simone. Not to mention that Simone always looks perfect. Maybe in part humanity is guilty for desiring to see perfection, that they don't like people looking like everyday people. They want them to look extraordinary, almost like what their image would be as a god. Perfect, never a rough day, no shadows under the eyes, no change in personality that's disagreeable, just always saying the right thing, always knowing how to present themselves, always moving in a correct way, not like they had to learn anything, and creating an ideal that is not realistic for humanity. And what they do is they keep on trying to find her in real life. But since she doesn't exist, there's this constant facade of who is Simone. They want to find out who Simone is. And how many more Simones will there be in the future? You see, she's like a mannequin. They're trying to hide her as they're driving around. She looks perfect. perfect all the time. And she is essentially a computer program. Here's another article. It was written in 2020. Hollywood is replacing artists with AI. Its future is bleak. They refer to the Black Mirror, which was an anthology series. It was very futuristic and, bring up all different types of scenarios. The algorithm that drives movie creation is likely to shut out a crucial factor in art. There's a book, You Are Not a Gadget. Programmer and virtual reality pioneer Jaron Lanier argues that our digital technologies have baked in biases that run against the grain of what it means to be human. When the developers of digital technologies design a program that requires you to react with a computer as if it were a person, they ask you to accept in some corner of your brain that you might also be conceived of as a program. Remember, we've been told that humans are hackable. Lanier writes, when they design an internet service that is edited by a vast anonymous crowd, they are suggesting that a crowd of humans is an organism with a legitimate point of view. The phenomenon of individual intelligence is a near description of a genius of art making as I've ever heard. Certainly filmmaking is collaborative and movies aren't individual products. Something even the most ardent supporter of auteur theory would admit, but they're not the result of groupthink or a hive mind because the individual intelligence are at play in the collaboration. In a good film, creative, accomplished, and opinionated artists are able to leave their thumbprint, or a lot more, on a finished product. They're trying to figure it out to justify it. Here they have created, I believe these are movies where they make them look younger than they actually are, or the way they look now, because of our desire for perfection, because they know that people are more interested in youth than older people, because it's a fact that the greater population of who is going to movies are younger. And so when they're looking at people, they're looking for youth, they're looking for perfection. It's very different than the earlier time of Hollywood. Of course, it's disturbing. Will AI change Hollywood forever? Not that we really are worried about Hollywood. We know Hollywood has a lot of problems anyhow, and they've also have taken advantage of the viewers and have pushed a lot of agendas and have interfered with or manipulated our cultures in many ways. I don't know if that's actually the issue, or is this just a topic of concern that probably will not only affect Hollywood, but all of us. Do we all become the background people? And this is referring to Chat GPT. What will AI do to Hollywood? Will it better to answer that question than Chat GPT, a thrilling but scary chatbot developed by OpenAI? When The Guardian asked about AI's potential impact on the film industry, it made the following points. Script writing. AI can be used to analyze existing screenplays and create new ones, potentially leading to more efficient and cost-effective screenwriting. Post-production, AI can be used to streamline the pre-production process, including casting, location, scouting, and storyboarding. Special effects, AI can be used for more realistic and immersive special effects, potentially reducing the need for practical effects and saving time and money in post-production. Audience analysis. AI can be used to analyze audience data and preferences, helping studios make more informed decisions about which films to greenlight and how to market them. And that's exactly my point. We, in some ways, are creating this without realizing it. Here's what their benefit is: distribution. AI can be used to personalize movie recommendations for viewers and optimize distribution strategies, potentially leading to higher ticket sales and revenue. Business, design, news, and trends. Fast Company. Fake celebrities created by a neural network look terrifyingly real. Even models are being replaced by AI. Are AI-generated models really going to replace human ones? Fashion brands are turning to digital models as a way to cut costs again, save time, and even appear more inclusive. What does that mean for human ones? In April, more than 1,800 high-profile tech leaders and researchers signed an open letter declaring that the world is moving too fast in adopting artificial intelligence. The letter states that AI systems with human competitive intelligence can pose profound risks to society and humanity, and asks for a 6-month moratorium on further training of this technology. While many have begun to question whether AI will develop to a point where it could replace their jobs, the modeling industry is already reckoning with this reality. While companies like H&M have been using AI for years to predict and analyze trends, Generate AI, a technology powered by machine learning that's able to create new images, text, videos, and sound based on data it's fed, and now being used to create digital models. In March, Levi's announced a new partnership with the Amsterdam startup LaLaLand.ai to diversify and supplement its website with AI models, claiming it would use them to increase the number and diversity of our models for our products in a sustainable way. So all of the diverse models do not get the job. AI does. Recently, Bruce Willis had some health issues and he wasn't able to perform or act anymore. And him and his family agreed to allow them to use Deepfake Studio to create his digital twin, but it doesn't own the rights to his image. Bruce did not sell his rights to a Deepfake Studio despite the reports to the contrary that recently went viral online. The Telegraph reported at the end of September that Willis made history as the first Hollywood star to sell his rights to allow a digital twin of himself to be created for use on screen, while a digital twin of Willis was created by deepfake company Deepfake to be used in an advertisement for Russian telecoms company Megaphone. Deepfake does not own the rights to Willis's image or to his digital twin, but they did use his twin in a movie. He was diagnosed with aphasia, which is impacting his cognitive abilities. Starting to see deepfake all over in TikTok and many different areas where people are playing with it. And it starts to get even more dangerous where they're having celebrities and politicians saying things that you don't really know if it's actually them saying it or is it someone else. But even with deepfake, they're all actors. And here is another video that you can listen to. Hollywood reporter Tom Cruise negotiated with movie studios over AI before the actors' strike began. Before talks between Hollywood Actors Union and major film and TV studios broke down, the SAG-AFTRA union enlisted Tom Cruise to lobby on behalf of its members, according to The Hollywood Reporter. At issue was the use of artificial intelligence, or AI. According to the report, superstar Cruise joined a negotiating session in June to discuss concerns about the use of AI to replace actors and to speak in support of stunt performers who are also in the SAG-AFTRA, 160,000 members. The Mission Impossible star famously performs his own stunts. SAG did not respond to the request for comment on the report, and representative of Tom Cruise declined the comment. On Friday, SAG officially joined the picket line against the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, AMPTP, a trade union that represents Hollywood's biggest movie studios and streaming services. Hollywood actors joined with 11,000 members of the Writers Guild of America and have been striking against AMPTP since early May. And this is the first time both writers and actors are on strike in 63 years. While there is a number of sticking points regarding fair pay and negotiations between Hollywood's actors and studios, The debate over the use of AI in television and film is arguably one of the most existential and contentious. The statement to CNN, the AMPTP said it had offered actors a groundbreaking AI proposal that protects actors' digital likeness. But SAG has argued that studios want to use AI to eliminate acting jobs by scanning and creating their likenesses, their digital likenesses, to use in perpetuity without fair compensation. And as I said, this is their form of cutting back. But there's more to the story. Tom Cruise is often shown in Deepfake, and there have been many videos of him, Keanu Reeves. There's a bunch of them on TikTok. There's also Elon Musk. You know, I remember a few years back, probably around 2015 or so, that someone contacted me and said I was on so-and-so's show. I won't say the name, it's not really relevant at this time. And I said, that's interesting because I don't even know that person. And they said, no, it's definitely you. I know it's you. It was your voice. It was your name. And obviously they didn't show my face, but it was more like a radio interview. And they said, the one thing about it though is the person had different views than you. And I said, really? And so they showed me, and I listened, and I couldn't believe it, but it really stayed in my mind, like, how in the world did they do that? And this is before Deepfake came out. And now years later, when Deepfake came out, it started to make sense. And the question is if that person had access to that technology, or there was something else going on. And what was also odd is that not many people really seemed to sympathize with what I was experiencing. And that is my identity was being used without my permission. I think that as a celebrity, you have people saying that all sorts of things that you have said or haven't said. And that is another common issue. But what if it goes into civilians as well? Because it's not going to stop at celebrities. And this is where it starts, to normalize it. So, the word to the wise is that we need to learn, we need to not ignore, and we need to not see this as someone else's problem. But that maybe what they're trying to do is make us backdrop people. Another way to see this is similar to what Dolores Cannon said, but in gaming terms. What does NPC mean? Understanding the non-player characters as an important aspect of any video game. So if we look at a non-player character, is a character not controlled by either the player or the AI and can be an important character or simply populate a game world. So if we're looking at life as games, which this next generation probably will because of all the games that they play, we might as well speak on their terms as well. They're supposed to be an important aspect of the game because they exist. And NPCs are different from CPUs, which are computer characters meant to act like a real person. So they literally have this played out in video games. And it's just, another way to look at it. And there is also the big question of that we might be living in a simulation or a matrix. And, there are many people that say that we're already in the simulation, doesn't really matter. Some of the examples is the Mandela effect, saying that there's missing aliens. There's the electrons that can't make up their mind, DNA that contains a computer virus, that they could embed malicious computer code into our physical strands of DNA. Apparently that was proved by the University of Washington. Climate change. Video games that look like real life. Further proof that we live in the Matrix, according to Musk, is how cool video games are these days. In 2016, he explained 40 years ago we had Pong, 2 rectangles and a dot, and now 40 years later we have photorealistic 3D with millions playing simultaneously. Weird news. Are we in this Matrix or quarks from the computer code? James Gates claims he has identified what appear to be actual computer code embedded in the equations of string theory that describe the fundamental particles of our universe. He says he found error-correcting codes. They're what make web browsers work. So why are they in the equation? I was studying about quarks and electrons and supersymmetry. Why does our universe have rules in the first place? Evidence that we live in a video game. It's not actually possible to prove we're not living in a simulation, and that is a good point. The Goldilocks zone is close enough to a star that greenhouse gases can trap heat to keep liquid water, but far enough away that the planet does not become a Venusian hothouse. That we live in such an orbital sweet spot is circumstantial evidence for a simulation. And they made a comment, if our sim designers wanted us to succeed, it makes sense that they'd place us in such a cushy environment. It makes more sense than Ghost, according to some people, that you could slip in between parallel timelines or pop up. A car passenger sees the word render in the sky as if it's entering the new part of the video game. Elevators are frequent setting for glitch stories, and the jump between floors seems to encourage a slip within dimensions. And that's what one of the Reddit forums said. Here you see repeat of images, the 2 benches together, the cars with the same license plate, the same woman sitting down eating, and you see a reflection of the cat looking at his own image. We already know what the bricks of our matrix are, and we're already good at making simulations, and we're getting even better. Universe Laurel, when the world flipped out because we all looked at the same photo, and some of us saw a blue dress while others saw a gold dress. What we perceive as reality is in fact partly a simulation created by our brains. And do you believe that? Do you not believe that? But that is also something that we should add to the equation of what we're experiencing. And for them to come out and say that we should all be AI or backdrop people, is that something that's already existing, or is that something they want to exist to make it easier to save money, to eliminate the extra bodies? It's just a thought.